I thought I was done. I thought happiness was something that happened to other people, not to someone like me who had just signed divorce papers and was eating cereal for dinner in a studio apartment at 34 years old. We had the house, the 2 cars, the joint bank account, the whole picture that everyone said was supposed to make me happy, but I was dying inside. Every morning I'd wake up next to someone who felt like a stranger, and every night I'd go to sleep wondering if this was all there was. The arguments got worse, the silence got longer, and one day we both just looked at each other and knew it was over, so I said yes. I put on the first dress I could find, threw on some makeup. The instructor was this older woman with silver hair and the biggest smile I'd ever seen. The music got louder, the lights got dimmer, and suddenly I wasn't thinking about my divorce or my empty apartment or my uncertain future. I was just moving, just breathing, just existing in that moment. She looked at me and Sarah and said something that still gives me chills. She said, "Dancing isn't about being perfect, it's about being present," and drove to this little dance studio downtown that I'd never even noticed before. But last Saturday night, something happened that completely changed everything I believed about my life, and I'm still trying to process it. I saw the woman who used to sing in the car before I started worrying about what other people thought. I saw the woman who used to dream big before I settled for safe. I saw me, and for the first time in years, I'm excited to see what happens next. I wasn't broken, I wasn't damaged goods. I wasn't half of something that no longer existed. Everyone talks about what you lose, but no one talks about what you find. I found freedom, I found possibility. I found the courage to be exactly who I am without apologizing for it. I found out that the best night of my life was untaid about finding someone else to complete me. It was about realizing I was never incomplete in the first place. I was whole. I was complete. I was me. His name was Miguel, and he was probably 70 years old with kind eyes and hands that had clearly been dancing for decades. He asked me to dance during the partner rotation, and I tried to warn him that I had no idea what I was doing. He just smiled and said, "Neither did I when I started. My wife taught me 40 years ago." Not because anything dramatic happened, but because for the first time in so long, I felt alive. I danced with strangers who became friends. I laughed until my stomach hurt. I stayed out until midnight, something I hadn't done in years. And when I finally got home, I looked in the mirror and saw someone I hadn't seen in forever. Not because it was messy or angry, but because it was so civil, so polite, so final. I'd go to work, come home, order takeout, and fall asleep watching Netflix. My friends kept calling, kept trying to get me out of the house, but I couldn't face the world. He told me about his wife, how she'd passed away 2 years ago, how he'd stopped dancing until his daughter forced him to come back. He said dancing was the only time he felt like himself again, like the person he was before grief rewrote his entire identity. I couldn't face the questions, the pity, the well-meaning advice about how I needed to get back out there. Get back out where? I didn't even know who I was anymore. We split everything down the middle like we were dividing up a business partnership. I remember sitting in that lawyer's office, signing papers that officially ended 8 years of my life, and thinking, this is it. This is how my story ends. Alone at 34, starting over from nothing. 6 months ago, I was married. The divorce process was brutal. Her boyfriend had just broken up with her over text, and she was supposed to go to this salsa dancing class that night. She begged me to come with her because she'd already paid and couldn't get a refund. I almost said no. I was in my pajamas at 7 p.m., halfway through a pint of ice cream. And the thought of being around happy, dancing people made me want to hide under my covers forever. For months after, I was a ghost. Then last Saturday happened. My friend Sarah called me crying, but something in her voice made me pause. She sounded how I felt every single day, broken and desperate and alone. Walking into that room was terrifying. Everyone looked so confident, so alive, so comfortable in their own skin. The first hour was awkward. I kept stepping on people's feet, laughing at the wrong times, apologizing for everything. But then something shifted, and then I met him. Not romantically, not like some fairy tale movie. We danced for maybe 3 minutes, but in those 3 minutes, everything changed. I started crying right there on the dance floor. Not because I was sad, but because I finally understood something I'd been missing for months. The rest of the night was magic. I saw the woman who used to paint on weekends before I got too busy being a wife. That night taught me something that no one tells you about divorce. The divorce didn't end my story. It gave me permission to write a new one.